Hello, welcome to this video by Future POTUS. This is our second election prediction. We have 37 days and 4 hours until the election. Very exciting time. Uh, Before we get started, if you are voting for Donald Trump, subscribe to the video. If you are voting for Kamala Harris, like the video. And please take our poll that we put out in a community post. That is useful information to us. Thank you. With all that ado, let's get started. So we're going to start with some solid states for Kamala Harris. And as you know, if you watched the last election prediction video, I don't like to do likely, lean, tilt. I just do solid for all of the or mostly blue states. So California, Kamala Harris's home state, is definitely a solid blue state. Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, New Mexico, Colorado, 2nd District of Nebraska, 1st District of Maine, Illinois, New York, Virginia, Minnesota, then all of the New England states. And now let's do some solid states for Donald Trump. Some solid states for Trump include Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, all of Nebraska, and then the 1st and 3rd districts of Nebraska, all of Maine and the 2nd district of Maine, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia. Those are safe states for Donald Trump. And with this, Kamala Harris is at an early lead, just 9 electoral votes over Donald Trump. So now let's do some battleground states. Now I want to address a claim I made in an earlier video. I said that without Pennsylvania, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump cannot win the election, and that is a false claim I made. There are multiple paths without Pennsylvania Trump could take to win the election, but Pennsylvania is going to be definitely a big player in the election. So let's start with the state of Nevada. With its 6 electoral votes, it's not that big of a prize, but every electoral vote counts because this is a very close election. Now, in 2020, it went for Biden, and in 2016, it went for Hillary Clinton. So it seems to be not for Trump that much. And in the latest polling, the last poll, it shows Kamala Harris up by 3%, and then all the average polls, it has her up by 1.4%. And in all the last few polls, it only has 2 polls where Trump is leading. It's only by 1%. So with all of this, I am going to say that Kamala Harris will likely win Nevada. Now we have Arizona. It has 11 electoral votes, so pretty decent amount. Now, this is where I get a little bit of a laugh. In all, Trump's up by an average of nearly 2 percentage points in the polling. Now, out of all of the past polls, of course, Bloomberg, which is most of the times a biased poll, has Kamala Harris up by 3 points. So just from that, I can almost tell that Trump's definitely going to win Arizona because all of his polls show him doing really good. And in 2 out of the last few polls, Trump's up by more than 5 points. And in 2020, infamously went to Biden, but in 2016, it went to Trump. So with that, I am hilariously, meaning Bloomberg having a Kamala Harris leading poll in Arizona, going to put Arizona in the Trump column this November. Now, in my opinion, I don't think Iowa is as big of a battleground state because before Joe Biden dropped out of the race, Trump was leading him by 15 points in Iowa, and now with Kamala Harris, Trump's still leading it by 4 percentage points. So I'm going to say that Iowa is definitely going to Trump. Here is Wisconsin. With 10 electoral votes, it's pretty decent prize too. Based in the latest polling, the average Kamala Harris is leading by a razor thin margin. But in the latest poll with New York Times and Siena, Kamala Harris is leading by 2 percentage points. But before that, Trump's leading by 2, and then there's a tie and Trump leading by 1. So it's going to be a pretty close race in Wisconsin. It has Kamala Harris leading by 0.8%, but there's a lot of ties too. But because Kamala Harris is leading in more polls than Trump is leading, and because it's an incredibly close race, I'm going to say that Kamala Harris will likely carry the state of Wisconsin. And also, in 2020, it went to Biden, but in 2016, it went to Trump. I think it's going to stick Democrat and go with Kamala Harris. Here is Michigan. So, with its 15 electoral votes, it's definitely up there in the prize. It's a very valuable state to win. Now, before I show you the latest polls, in 2020 went for Biden, but Trump infamously won Michigan in 2016 because he broke the blue wall. And in the latest polling, the average has Kamala Harris up by 1.4%. The latest poll by New York Times and Siena has Kamala Harris up by 1%. But there's this other poll, Atlas Intel, who has Trump up by 4%. And then Bloomberg has Kamala Harris up by 3%. And then there's 2 ties. And in some cases, Kamala Harris is up by 5%. I am going to say, because Kamala Harris is winning in a lot of them, Kamala Harris will likely win the state of Michigan. Now we have Pennsylvania. In 2020, Trump lost Pennsylvania, but in 2016, he won it. In the latest polling, Kamala Harris, it's nearly tied. Kamala Harris is only leading by 0.1. And in the latest poll, Trump is leading with Atlas Intel by 3%. Now, Bloomberg says Kamala Harris is leading by 5%. I don't know how much I can believe that. But once again, they're somewhat biased a lot of the time. Even though the average is Kamala Harris leading, Trump leads in more polls than Kamala Harris does. And with that, I'm going to say, in contrast with my last election prediction, which I claimed Kamala Harris would win Pennsylvania, and I thought Trump would win it, in my opinion. I think Trump's going to win Pennsylvania. Now we have North Carolina, which is 16 electoral votes, which is a pretty decent, very decent amount. Now, Trump and Harris are neck and neck at this point. So, North Carolina is the only swing state to stick with Trump both times. And it would surprise me just from that they would go for Trump. But there's polling to back it up. A lot of people think, Trump can't win North Carolina because it's tied and Kamala Harris is going to pull it off. I think Trump's going to win North Carolina because even though the last poll is a tie, Trump's average is up by 0.7 points. Now, Bloomberg has Kamala Harris up by 2%. I can't say how much I believe. I mean, who knows? Bloomberg can have good polls sometimes. But Trump is leading in more polls than Kamala Harris is, and by more than Kamala Harris is. So at that, I am going to say that Trump will win North Carolina. And our last battleground state is Georgia. Now, well, let's look at this. In 2020, Trump lost, or Biden won it by 0.24%. It's incredibly close. But in 2016, Trump won it by 5%. And in the latest polling, Trump is up at an average of 1.4 points. Now, Fox News poll says Kamala Harris is up by 3%, but Trump is winning in more polls, and in some cases by a lot more, or by somewhat a decent 1% more than Kamala Harris in Georgia. I am going, and like I said, the average has Trump up by a bigger 1.4%. I'm going to say that Trump will win the state of Georgia. And that concludes our video for today. This is as of September 29th, 2024, what I believe the election outcome will be. Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States as of right now, with the latest polling averages and past elections. So, like I said, if you want Trump to win the election, subscribe, and if you want Kamala Harris to win the election, like the video, please, and make sure to take our poll. Comment and tell me if you liked it and what I could do better to improve it, and please be respectful in your comments, which so far that has not been an issue. And thank you. Have a good election season.